This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember, 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
And welcome back, everyone. This is the X-Zone on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and Star Cable, coming to you from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Toll-free worldwide, 1-800-610-7035. My email address is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com, and our website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. By the way, the X-Zone store has been reopened at www.xzonestore.com, and a very special thanks to my good friend John Reynolds and his crew at SEFX 3D, who were kind enough to work on our website at our store. And, of course, John is the co-executive producer with me on Paragator. So, John, and to your crew, thanks very much, buddy. We're going to be talking about dreams this hour, X-Zone Nation. Our guest this hour is a gentleman who is going to be talking to us about dreams. He's the author of Dreamscenes, How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. His name is Derwin Boyd. And Derwin Boyd, welcome to the X-Zone. How are you, buddy?
Well, I'm fine, Rob, especially after that introduction. I was really jamming to the music here.
You know, I could hear your feet shuffling over there, and I said, my God, this guy, you know you're in radio when you start dancing around a desk, no matter where you are. And Derwin has been in radio. He worked at KBOO-FM 90.7 in Portland, Oregon. He was the former producer and host over there. He hosted several shows over the years. And before we get into dreams, do you miss radio?
Yeah, I really do. I mean, it gets into you, you know. It becomes a part of you. And you know, the excitement of it, of being a part of something, to whereas, you know, you come up with a good idea for a show because, you know, you want to get this information to people, and then when you have them come up and say, hey, I heard your show, and I like what you had to say, and I learned something from it, it's a great feeling of satisfaction.
Yeah, and then, X-Zone Nation, there's the side of radio that Derwin was kind enough not to mention. That's when you go out in public and people come up to say, you know what, you suck.
This is true.
How did you go from radio to dreams?
How did I go from radio to dreams? Well, dreams has actually been something I've been involved in for a very, very long time. So to be actually honest with you, I first became curious about dreams really when I was still in high school. At that time, my aspiration was to be a psychiatrist.
Really?
So, yeah. So I started reading everything that I could, you know, about psychiatry and of course, you know, Harry Stack Sullivan and,
sure,
you know, Karen Horney and Carl Jung and, of course, Sigmund Freud.
Yeah.
And then, you know, of course, Sigmund Freud is the, you know, the father of modern dream interpretation. And so that's where it first piqued my curiosity, and it's actually been something that I've been very curious about.
All right, so let me just summarize this segment because we've got to take a break here. You were the kid sitting at the front of the class with the textbook that the teacher was reading. I was the kid at the back of the class with the Playboy magazine. You and I will be back on the other side of this commercial break as the X Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. 1-800-610-7035 is toll-free. Email xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. We'll be back after this break. Don't go away.
Take a step back in time and discover old Florida cuisine at Marsh Landing Restaurant in Fellsmere. Enjoy delicacies such as frog legs, gator tail, catfish, and swamp cabbage, or enjoy the more traditional cuisine like hand-cut Angus steaks, ribs, and seafood. Join us for breakfast with a southern flair featuring sweet potato pancakes, biscuits and gravy, and much more. Planning a party? Marsh Landing's private dining room can accommodate groups from 8 to 80 people. While you're visiting, enjoy the historic pictures, artifacts, and stories that line the walls. Marsh Landing is truly a unique experience. Marsh Landing Restaurant, 44 North Broadway in historic Fellsmere, or visit marshlandingrestaurant.com. Marsh Landing, old Florida cuisine at its best.
Are you interested in the paranormal, ghosts, UFOs, or psychic phenomenon? Join me, Tim Bartley, co-host of Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, coming mid-January 2017 to the XZBN. We will channel spirits live and talk to them, revealing all kinds of amazing information. Spiritual attachments will be found and removed on the show, and so much more. To find out when you can listen to Talking to Spirits with Lightworkers Tim and Justina, visit www.xzbn.net for listeners on both sides of the veil.
Welcome back, everyone. Boyd Derwin is our special guest. He's the author of Dreamscenes, How to Understand
Derwin
the Symbols.
Boyd.
What did I say, Boyd Derwin?
Yeah.
Oh. See, I'm bilingual. Frontwards, backwards, it comes out the same thing. All right, let's try this one again. Derwin Boyd is our special guest, X Zone Nation. He's the author of Dreamscenes, How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. So you were interested in dreams ever since you were a young guy, and how has being interested in dreams played in your life? How has it hindered, or how has it helped you?
It hasn't hindered me. It has definitely helped me. I think what was let's say a light moment, it happened many, many years ago. Mm-hmm. Probably about a little over 20-something years ago, I realized I started making a connection between my dreams and actual things that were happening in my life. I had this one dream about, it was like a specter or something, evil-looking thing that was coming at me, and I kept waving, trying to get it away, but I couldn't get it away, and it had this menacing look on its face. I didn't know it at the time, but that was a warning about something negative that was getting ready to happen. And later that day, that's exactly what happened. And so that was always in the back of my mind. I still at that point wasn't keeping a dream diary or anything like that, but, it made an impression on me.
Why do people dream?
Why do people dream?
Yeah.
People dream because it's a way of getting information to the person or making them aware of things that they need to be aware of. Whether it be your health, whether it be your relationships, approaching danger or alerting you to opportunity. Dreams are a way of bringing that information to you that you probably would not be aware of.
To the best of your knowledge, Derwin, does everyone dream?
Yes, everyone dreams. And that was something that I meant to mention, when you asked about the possible things that people might be interested in hearing, and I forgot to put that down. I later thought about that because I have found over the years, I run into people, when we get on the subject of dreams and stuff, some of them say that they don't dream. I say, yeah, you dream. You just don't remember it. And because what it is, their sleep is so deep that they dream, but by the time they wake up, they don't remember their dream.
How many dreams would a person have in the course of a normal night's sleep?
Oh, that depends. That depends on how important the information is that the dreams are trying to get to the person. A person can have 2 or 3 dreams. I've had as many as 6. So the numbers vary. And another thing, too, I would like to add to a person who thinks they don't dream, and I remind them, yes, you do. I say, because the majority of people, the vast majority of people don't remember most of their dreams. So if you are a person who can remember your vivid dreams on a regular basis, you're really in the minority. So for people who usually don't fit that category, I remind them, I say, but you do remember some of your dreams, don't you? And they'll say, yeah, well, I do remember them sometimes. I say, well, okay. Well, then in that particular case, when you do remember what your dream is, you need to pay attention to it. Because that's your subconscious, that's your inner self, that's your spiritual guidance saying you need to take a look at this. And so when you do remember your dreams, please write it down. And then see if you can try to figure out what do you think it's trying to tell you, because it's only going to bring you new information. It's not something you're already aware of. Your dreams always bring you new information that you're not aware of.
The food or the beverages that we drink during the course of a day, could they affect our dreams?
Yes, they can, and those are usually situations like that where sometimes you might be able to overlook the dream. Let's say if you were, got intoxicated in your dream, you might have these weird dreams. Maybe not they mean anything. I would still write them down anyway. A big meal and you fall off to sleep, sometimes those can create some weird dreams that may not mean anything as well. And certain medications.
So how do we know which dreams are dreams that we should pay attention to and which dreams are just our imagination and our mind purging useless information that we no longer need anymore?
That's a good question. And I'd say the one way that to guard against that is something that I do and that I encourage everyone else to do. Keep a dream diary. Write them down. If you're somebody who is working at this constantly and you've gotten in touch with yourself, you've done a lot of study on your own, like I'm constantly studying different dream interpretations and styles and things like that continuously. It's continuous study. If you're a person who does that and you keep a dream diary and you write all your dreams down and you are aware of what certain symbols mean and what certain colors mean, certain scenes mean, and if those things don't come to pass, then you'll know that then it probably didn't mean anything. But what I have found is that most of the time, whether it's beverage or food or whatever for that matter, usually if I have any type of a dream, usually something in there is something that is useful.
Is there a difference in the type of dream when it comes to dreams being black and white or color, or do both these dreams have the same significance?
No, they would definitely be. That's a good question as well. Colorful dreams. Colors mean things in dreams, and I would, if a dream came in black and white,
Mm-hmm.
I would have to say I've never had a black and white dream. All my dreams come in color. And anybody I've ever worked with, I've never worked with anybody like that. I've heard of it,
Mm-hmm.
though.
I've had black and white dreams. That's why I'm asking.
And it would seem to me, if it's just black and white, what type of setting are we talking about? Is it night? Is it day?
Oh, it could be day. It could be night.
It could be day. It could be night.
Yeah.
A black and white dream where you're just seeing a lot of black?
No, it
there?
was like I'm watching black and white TV.
It would sound like to me that would be something negative. I would then write down all the action of the dream,
Mm-hmm.
and usually within about 3 days you're going to know what the answer is. Because what I have found is that when you dream something, it usually will happen within 3 days. And so, yeah, that would be the best way to figure that. But to me, that doesn't sound like something that's very positive, because a dream that's in color, like with green and blues and purples and bright colors like that, that's always a very, very positive dream.
What are flying dreams?
Flying dreams from what?
Well, let's say you're dreaming and you dream that you're flying. What is the significance of flying in a dream?
It depends on the total action of the dream and how you felt in the dream. Again, is it a dream during the day, or is it a dream at night, or were there clouds? What is the scenery? Now, if it's just a regular flying dream where you feel exhilarated and
Mm-hmm.
it's blue sky and it's green, you see a beautiful landscape and things like that, then that's a very, very good dream. That says things are going well, prosperity, you're feeling good about yourself, you're enjoying life, and just some very, very good things. Not only are some good things happening, but some very, very good things are going to continue to happen. There's going to be some good news concerning something that you are really concerned about, and you can expect it, because it will happen. On the other hand, if you're having a flying dream and let's say there are clouds, there is a brown landscape, there are trees with no leaves, and you're going to experience some type of losses. You're trying to get away from something, or you're being chased. Usually when I have a dream like that, or known people who have, where it has that type of setting, they're running from something, or there's somebody, it's warning them of a threatening situation. But the fact that they're able to fly and get away means even though this negative stuff is going to happen, they're going to still be able to escape it. But there will be some type of misfortune.
Derwin, stand by. We've got to take a commercial break with the news at the bottom of the hour. X-Zone Nation, Derwin Boyd is our special guest. And he's also written a book called A Book of Praise that's available at Borders, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon. He's also the author of a new book that is going to be released later on this year called Dreamscenes, How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news with our special guest, Derwin Boyd, as we continue talking about dreams here in the X-Zone, live from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada, on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and Star Cable. Don't go away.
This is the X-Zone Broadcast Network, broadcasting worldwide on broadcast affiliates and satellite program providers, including CNN Broadcast Network, Sirius Satellite Network, Star Media, Good News Radio Network, Angel Broadcast Network, Wiki Broadcast Network, and WPBN TV. For more information on the X-Zone Broadcast Network, visit us at www.xzbn.net.
Did you know that when you're on the road with limited data or Wi-Fi, you can still listen to the X-Zone Radio Show with Rob McConnell, The Science of Magic with Gwilda Wiyaka, X-1, Dimension X, Space Patrol, and every minute of the X-Zone Broadcast Network by calling 213-401-0080, courtesy of Audio Now. No smartphone, app, or internet needed. It saves your data plan, and it's free if you have unlimited minutes. Call 213-401-0080 to listen on any phone, anytime, anywhere. Remember 213-401-0080 for the best of the paranormal, parapsychology, and sci-fi radio programming anywhere, 24/7, 365.
And welcome back, everyone. Derwin Boyd is our special guest. He's the author of Dreamscenes, How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. He's also the author of a book of praise that's available at Borders, Barnes & Noble, and Amazon.com. If you'd like to give us a call, 1-800-610-7035. My email is xzone@xzoneradiotv.com. On MSN Messenger, xzoneradiotv@hotmail.com. And our main website, www.xzoneradiotv.com. And don't forget, X-Zone Nation, the X-Zone store is now open for business, xzonerestore.com. Derwin, we talked about flying dreams. We've talked about black and white dreams, color dreams. Do most people dream? And you said everybody dreams. And I agree with you, including animals. I know for a fact that they dream.
Yeah.
Nightmares. What is the psychology and the meaning behind nightmares? Like, thank the good Lord, I haven't had a good nightmare in quite some time, but I do remember the ones that I've had as vividly as if I had them just last night. And why do we have nightmares?
From my research and studying into it, nightmare dreams are usually warnings, because there is something that's going on inside of the dream.
Mm-hmm.
You're being chased, you're witnessing, killings, which means a lot of blood, which is always negative. And they're usually at night,
Mm-hmm.
which is always negative. And that my understanding is, if you have a nightmare, it's a warning dream. It's warning you about something, and you should pay very, very close attention to it to see if you can figure out what it is trying to warn you about, and then take precautions.
Where does the information come from that we get in our dreams?
Where does the information come from?
Well, yeah, for example, if we're getting a warning and we're not aware of the circumstances pertaining to the warning, we have a dream at night. You said we're getting warned. So where does this information come from?
It can come from a number of sources. It could be your intuition that's alerting you to something that you're not aware of consciously.
Mm-hmm.
And it's processing it, and it's putting it in the dream form to, hey, you need to take a serious look at this.
Gotcha.
This is not what you think it is. You need to get out of this. Or it could be a form of precognition, actually seeing the future. Because I have had situations like that. I've talked to other people about situations like that. And I truly do believe that your dreams, you do see the future. So it could be actually warning you about a future situation. So if you write it down and you have it in your dream diary, and then you can relate to it later on to see if you can connect what it is trying to warn you to. I have this one really good example because it comes really to mind to me. I keep, whenever I talk about these warning dreams and nightmares and things like that. There was this young lady who was the daughter of a very, very good friend of mine. And she's a teenager, a little rebellious, but overall she's a pretty nice young girl. She told me that she had this dream about this monster that was sucking her, like trying to suck her through a straw.
Right.
And that and that she was trying to get away, but she couldn't get away. It kept pulling her through the straw, you know. And she was telling us this between me and her mother. And I said, what do you think it means? And she couldn't tell me. And then I said, didn't you just start recently dating this new dude? She said, yeah. I said, that's a warning dream. It's telling you to get away. Get away from him. He's dangerous. Of course, being a young teenager, she went on and did it anyway. Well, about 4 or 5 months later, it came to pass as I suspected, and he turned out to be very abusive.
Oh, no.
Yeah, very abusive, threatening her. She had to get a restraining order and everything else. And I said, okay, Lori, now you know. So if in the future, you're in relationships and you start having dreams like this, take them as a warning.
So I would imagine that the being sucked through the straw was a metaphor or a dream for her having her, he's just sucking the energy right out of her.
Sucking the energy right out of her, controlling. Cause that would show a sense of wanting to really be in control too, and so sucking the energy out of her and wanting to control her life.
Is it possible, based on your experience, Derwin, and the research that you've done, is it possible to communicate with those who have passed, relatives who have passed away in dreams? No doubt. I truly, truly believe that. I truly do believe in, and particularly in Gypsy dream interpretation, they talk about that a lot. They're really big on the Chinese interpretation as well. When you get into the Eastern interpretation, away from the traditional Western interpretation, yes,
you hear a lot about that. And my own experience is you do communicate with the deceased through your dreams. That is a way that they're able to communicate with us, to let us know that they are well, and it also serves as a comforting message to let us know that yes, that when this life ends, there is do go on. I can give you several examples of communicating with my my mother, my deceased mother and brother and grandparents, and this one particular lady who I used to rent from just a few years ago, Rob. Real nice lady. We call her Miss Gertrude. Her name was Gertrude. We call her Miss Gertrude. Everybody liked Miss Gertrude. Gertrude was in her mid-60s. Mm-hmm. And while I was at work, she used to always entertain. I like to help people. And unfortunately, this one day while I was at work, because Gertrude had a lot of illnesses, being in her 60s, she had diabetes, heart trouble, and she had surgery and all that. Gertrude basically dropped dead in the house. Just fell out. I got home and they told me she had died. I was in shock. Gertrude is gone, really nice lady, Rob, about 3 nights later, I had this dream, and this woman came up to me smiling in my dream. And though it didn't really look like Gertrude in the dream, I knew it was her. I said, Miss Gertrude, are you okay? And she was smiling. She said, yes, I'm fine, Derwin. Yes, I'm doing really well. And I said, okay, I just wanted to know how you were doing. She says, don't worry about me. I'm doing fine. Wow. I woke up and I felt so much better. And I really do believe that she was communicating. She knew how upset I was, how worried I was about her. And she came to me to let me know that she was doing just fine.
Is there anything someone should do to prepare themselves before they go to sleep so that they could have more in-depth dreams, work in their dreams, or have better recall of their dreams?
Oh, yeah. The more you work at your dreams, the more you are committed to your dreams, the better you will remember them. Never fails. Have dream diary right next to your bed.
Yeah.
Some people say, I don't have to do this because I remember my dreams vividly anyway. But other people have said that, you know, as you go to sleep, you know, you say to yourself, I want to remember my dreams. I'm going to remember my dreams. You know, just kind of like a mantra, an affirmation. And from what I've read, from my research, it works. People who do that, they do tend to remember their dreams more. And then again, so if you apply that technique, you have a dream diary right next to your bed, you're telling your subconscious that you want to remember your dreams. You make it a habit of writing down all the dreams that you remember. You will discover as time goes on, you will remember not only more of your dreams, you will remember more details of them. And you will come adept at being able to know what it is you are trying to tell yourself, which is really what it comes down to.
How can dreams help us in our day-to-day life? For example, at our jobs, can our dreams help us to pick a better career or help us in the career that we've chosen?
No doubt, no doubt. Your dreams guide you continuously. Your dreams help you with the decisions that you're making. A lot of times in your career, your dreams, a lot of times in your career, it has to do with decisions. You know, should I do this or should I do that? Or in your case, you know, if an idea came to you about doing another show, you know, and you're discussing it with your producers, you know, should we do this show? Do you think it'll work? Well, your dreams will tell you whether or not the show is going to be successful.
How
and
about
if it's not, huh?
I was just going to say, how can dreams help us with our relationships then?
Pretty much the same way. Your dreams always tell you the state of your relationships at all times. Even before you meet that person that you end up getting into a relationship with, your dreams have already foretold to you that you're going to meet that person. They've also told you whether or not the relationship is really going to work. or you know, is this the one? You know, is this the one I'm going to marry and live happily ever after? Your dreams have told you that even before you meet the person. And as you're in the relationship, you're constantly getting reminders about that as far as the state of your relationship. If there are problems, your dreams will tell you, you know, what these problems are, what is causing these problems. If there is a solution, it will show you what the solutions are. Or if it's a situation that it's not going to work out, your dreams will tell you that. If you found your soulmate, they'll say, hey, you can stick with this. This one loves you, she's loyal, or he's loyal, and this is a good situation.
If someone has a warning dream that is pertaining to someone else, for example, let's say I have a warning dream and I see a friend of mine in my dream that is going to be involved in an accident. Is that dream actually foretelling me of an accident that he is going to be in, or is it foretelling me of another situation that I should be aware of?
That's a very, very good question. In situations, from what I've understood about particularly friend dreams, dreams of your friends, close friends, or even distant friends, people that you recognize. If you have a dream like that they're in trouble, they probably are. If you have a dream about them being in an accident, something's probably going to happen. It may be an actual accident. Take accident dreams very seriously. It means something is definitely going to happen. It may not be totally in a literal sense of like a car accident or something like that. But it is a type of a warning that something very negative is probably getting ready to occur, and you would probably do your well to contact that friend and you know, talk to them about what's going on in their life and how they're feeling about things, and even relate it to them and see, does that connect with them in any kind of way of some possibly approaching a negative situation.
Derwin, stand by. You and I have to take our final break for this hour. Exonation Derwin Boyd is our special guest. He's got a book that hopefully will be out by the end of the year. It's entitled Dreamscenes. How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. That's Dreamscenes. How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. Until then, he does have another book that is already out entitled A Book of Praise. It's available at Borders, Barnes & Noble, Amazon, and fine bookstores everywhere. I'll be back on the other
Chapters
side.
Indigo in Canada.
I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break as we continue live and around the world from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and on Star Cable.
19 Sergeant Central. 19 Sergeant check. Officers on the scene.
Hi, I'm Larry Lawson, host of Paranormal Stakeout. With over 36 years in law enforcement, I have learned a few things. The most important is the proper gathering and preservation of evidence is vital to putting the bad guy behind bars. It's no different in the world of paranormal investigation. Whether it's the search for the afterlife, cryptozoology, UFOs, and extraterrestrials, how we gather the evidence, preserve that evidence, and present it to a jury of our peers will make the ultimate difference in proving the existence of worlds and entities that are beyond our imagination. Join me, Larry Lawson, every week on Paranormal Stakeout when, along with my guests, we'll take a journey to prove with indisputable evidence what man has struggled to believe for centuries. Go to xzbn.net for the broadcast schedule and check me out at paranormalstakeout.com.
True healing must address 4 levels: physical, emotional, mental, and spiritual, for us to live joyful and productive lives. We tend to treat 3 of the 4, leaving the spiritual languishing. If you're tired of the same dysfunctional patterns cropping up in your life, Soul Balancing is for you. Trixie Phelps, owner and founder of Soul Balancing, is a naturally gifted energy healer trained in numerous esoteric forms, including shamanism. Trixie has created a powerful modality that safely and effectively clears your energetic field. A soul balancing session can remove interference, heal trauma, and restore your hope. Contact Trixie for a life-changing long-distance session today. www.soulbalancing.world.
You're listening to the X-Zone Broadcast Network, www.xzbn.net. We're talking about dreams this hour. Derwin Boyd is our special guest. He has a book that's coming out hopefully by the end of the year. It's called Dreamscenes, How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. Now, Derwin, there are so many different interpretations for dreams. You know, you go into any bookstore and you've got book after book after book after book about dreams. You've got the Dream Directory, you've got the Dream Encyclopedia. And as you go through the pages, you'll see that, for example, the definition of a black horse is different in each one of these books. So how is a person supposed to know which symbol applies to them and their dreams?
Very good question. I almost put that down, too, after I sent you that. I thought about that, too, all the different dream interpretations. And I've had people ask me that, and I've helped them with that. That's a good one. How do I start with that one? My understanding, I guess the best way to, I mean, I have some recommendations I can give, but other than that, first of all, here's my experience with that. It seems to me that the interpretations that always deal with everything as it relates just to the dreamer, you know, like if you know, nightmares, or it's telling you that you've got to, you know, it's revealing something negative about yourself, or the black horse is saying there's a negative side of yourself, or things like that. I would pretty much, and I really hate to say this because from my experience it's the truth, those don't really work for me. I have some of those. They don't really work for me. Dream books that talk about things, future things happening, a black horse, you know, or a white horse, meaning success, a black horse meaning some type of
Failure?
misfortune. Yeah, exactly. The color black is always associated with something negative, usually some type of failure, difficulties that need to be overcome. Whereas the color white is always, associated with success, good fortune, success in business, relationships, what have you. And that would be the best thing that I could say. Or if people would like, who are interested in particular types of dream books, I could give some recommendations. If they was to email you and used to send me information or something like that. But that's pretty much what I would say. Did that come across clear enough?
Yeah, Derwin, we've just run out of time. I want to thank you so much for joining us tonight. It's been a great pleasure talking to you. Derwin Boyd has been our guest this hour, X-Zone Nation. We've been talking about dreams, and as I said, Derwin has a book that's coming out in the near future, and it is entitled Dreamscenes, How to Understand the Symbols of Your Dreams. I'll be back on the other side of this commercial break with the news as the X-Zone continues from our studios in Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Worldwide on the Talkstar Radio Network, X-Zone Broadcast Network, and Star Cable. We'll be back in, about 5-6 minutes. At 6.5 minutes past the top of the hour. Don't go away.